Right, this next session is going to involve a whole lot of speakers. So we've got Diane Fraser, who's going to chair this session. And to make it happen, we're going to need speakers to be close to the stage so we can cycle through them quite quickly. All good? Now, if you don't know Diane, you're about to. But Diane works at Unitech, and Diane is a shaper of minds.
Oh, thank you.
She trains people to enable biosecurity sector to create a better future. So we're very grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Craig. Kia ora tātou. Ko Campsie Fells Timawanga. Ko Clyde Te Awa. Ko Clan Fraser of Lovett, tōku iwi. No Glasgow hau. Kai taupaki, tōku kianga. Ko Diane Fraser, tōku ingoa. Nā mai, welcome, and as we say in Scottish Gaelic, Felche. I am Associate Professor at the Environmental and Animal Sciences Group in Unitech, and thank you very much for that introduction, and yes, part of this is introducing my students. I have a strong passion for biosecurity education, so I encourage you all to think about the opportunities in the future, and hopefully we can create some more for you. Right, as this will run, I'm hoping, can we have the first presentation up, please? So these presentations are 3 minutes. I will be hovering in the background, and once we have, once you've got to about 2.5 minutes, you'll probably see me standing up, and then once I get too close, you'll have to leave. You don't want to get a Scots lassie angry, right? So I understand we're doing it alphabetically, so yes, we are. The first person is Lindsay Barber, who is from Tasman District Council, and she was talking about eradication of Taiwan cherry trees, challenges in management and invasive and amenity species. Yep, sorry, Lindsay. Yes.
Am I going to move the slides on, or are you going to move them on?
No, I think you've got you here. You'll
Okay.
have your little arrows, the one in the middle, the big one in the middle.
Sure. Okay, yeah, so as said, so I'm Lindsay Barber. I'm the Senior Biosecurity Officer with the Tasman District Council. So this GEMS talk is it's all about an attempt to eradicate a highly desirable pest tree, Taiwan cherry, or Prunus campanulata from our region, and looking at some of the challenges that we face. So first up, you're probably all familiar with this tree. Tui flock to it like no other tree, and there's no denying it's a very attractive tree. And in fact, when nurseries realised how attractive it was to tui, they rebranded it the tui tree. So they produce small cherries that are spread by blackbirds, starlings, wax-eyes and keriru. Okay, so we operate under a joint Tasman District Council, Nelson City Council regional pest management plan. And so the issue of Taiwan cherry spread was brought to our attention by Dr. Peter Williams from Landcare Research back in 2014 in 2 reports that he produced. So the resulting actions from his reports between 2014 and 2019 involved carrying out a spatial data survey, an eradication feasibility study and a cost-benefit study, after which Taiwan cherry was included in the 2019-2029 Regional Pest Management Plan as an eradication pest species. So biosecurity staff from both councils took full responsibility for the eradication program. Characteristics, it germinates and grows in very low light conditions. It's got that distinctive growth and form, kind of an inverted cone. And in dense bush, it produces a single spindly branchless leader, 6 to 7 metres long, with a small productive crown. So this one, it can be very, very hard to kill. Actually, that's shooting through these slides for some reason very, very quickly. What's going on there? Okay. Right. Rightio. So it can be very, very hard to kill. The stump coppices away, even after poisoning the tree sometimes. And in terms of varieties, we've got there's a couple of varieties that we're not targeting, and that's one is Mimosa, and the other one is Pink Cloud. Nurseries typically use sweet cherry wood as a rootstock, and the scion wood was of course Taiwan cherry. And frustratingly, that's led to fertility variability in mature trees. But anecdotally, we know that trees that grow from seed will always produce heaps of fertile fruit once they're mature.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left, okay. Compliant tree owners, they're offered removal of trees, and all tree cuttings are removed free of charge. Compensation, we compensate with a nursery tree up to the value of $75, and this of course applies to purchased Taiwan trees only that have been purchased through a nursery. But unfortunately, enforcement with police backup has been required more than once in the past. Just a couple of issues. There's significantly more Taiwan cherry trees out in the region than we originally thought, and more wilding sites. Some people have claimed that human or pet ashes have been scattered around the base of the tree, so we're empathetic to that, but it's a difficult situation to deal with, and these trees still have to be removed regardless. And people also claim a wilding tree was a nursery purchase tree, and to dishonestly claim a $75 compensation fee as well, so that's not too good either. And last thing I'll say is some are adamant that their tree would be removed over my dead body, and we haven't had to do that yet, so we're doing well. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lindsay. And can I have the second presentation up just to make sure I've got the right person? So do we have Nigel? Is Nigel speaking? Yes. Nigel Charman from 210 Consulting Limited, speaking for Kate McAlpine from the Department of Conservation on using iNaturalist to contribute to the Smart Weed Alert tool. Thank you. You know that's the thing you
Okay, thank you.
That.
Cool. Yeah, kia ora, ko Nigel Charman ahau. So I'm the technical lead on SWAT, working alongside Kate McAlpine and our development partners, X Equals. So SWAT is a tool to notify users to new weed reports. It's being developed and funded by DOC and will be available freely for anybody to use. So hands up if you subscribe to iNaturalist notifications. There's quite a few of you. Keep your hand up and leave it up if you get the information that you need out of iNaturalist. And keep it up if you find it easy to use. Okay, it's a fair few. So we're going to give you something that's even easier to use and is better targeted at the weeds that you want to know about. For example, if you're looking at an RPMP, you might want to put all those species in. So unlike other tools, SWAT will be easily configurable and give you the information that you need. So a novel feature of SWAT is alerting you to new or uncommon weeds. So this will be any species that's new to your area or has a low incidence rate within that area. And you don't need to specify which species. This will detect you of any exotic species. Another option is to select a category of weed, such as an RPMP. You select the region and the management programs that you're interested in having alerts for. Or you can select any of the MPI lists or the DOC environmental weed list. And finally, you can pick specific species that you're interested in as well. Once you've selected one of these three options, you'll select the places that you're keen to be notified about. And we're also adding lots of advanced settings for people who really want to fine-tune their alerts. So where does SWAT get its data from? It's from GBIF, the Global Biodiversity Information Facility. You'll be hearing more about this from Michael Beredozzi later this morning. But for plants, there's 145 publishers of plant data into GBIF, Herbaria, the National Vegetation Survey, regional councils, government agencies, and iNaturalist. So what SWAT is doing is joining that data up with the people that need it. We're aiming to make it available later this year, and we hope to extend it beyond weeds then to other taxa, fish and insects and, anything you're interested in. So if you're keen to find out more, come and talk to me. I'll be here for the 3 days, or Kate's here for today if you want to chat to her. You can make an impact by adding observations into our naturalist. Then they'll all be coming through on spot. Thank you.
Kia ora. So I think our next one, if I'm right, is Jae Hyun, who is the first of my students. And he is talking, this is so Jay is in his final year of the Bachelor of Applied Science at Unitec, and he's working in conjunction with Auckland Council. And are recreational users of Te Kapa Moana biosecurity risk savvy. Have you got the right one? No, sorry, I've got the wrong one. I thought they were doing them alphabetically. Okay, we're going to have to change students. Taylor. Apologies. Taylor Devonshire is in her second year in her undergraduate Bachelor of Applied Science programme, so this is very unusual to have a second year student present, and she is talking about biosecurity alert on the spotted lanternfly.
Kia ora, my name is Taylor, and I'm going to be talking about a concerning potential pest for Aotearoa, and that is the spotted lanternfly, or Lycoma delicatula. Now, at first glance, this insect may look beautiful, but it is considered a serious pest, even in its native range in China. And it has spread and caused damage to South Korea, Japan, and large parts of the eastern United States. Its arrival is likely due from an initial introduction of egg masses on a stone slab. And that's what makes it such a successful invader, the egg masses. They're small, wax-coated, they contain 30 to 50 eggs, and they can be laid on any smooth surface that's wider than 1 centimetre, so like pallets, cars, or landscaping supplies, making them hard to detect and easy to spread. But why is it such a big concern? Because their impacts are both ecological and economic. So they feed on over 70 plant species, including grapes, kiwi fruits, stone fruits, and even roses. Their feeding causes sap-producing wounds, and the excretion of honeydew promotes the growth of sooty mould, which both substances block photosynthesis, weakens plant health, and reduces fruit quality and yield. In the US, some vineyards have seen up to 90% crop loss, and their pest control costs have almost tripled in nearly 2 years. And yet they still haven't been able to eradicate it. So could it arrive and establish in New Zealand? Unfortunately, it is quite likely. Adults only live for about a few days without food, but their egg cases can survive for months, and they can be laid on imported goods. So with our high trade volumes with Asia and the US, the pathways for arrival are numerous. We also have a suitable climate here in New Zealand, as you can see on the graph, and a widespread presence of Ailanthus altissima, the tree of heaven, which is their preferred host. And there's no natural predators here. So the impacts in New Zealand could be widespread as well. In 2023, our wine exports were worth 2.45 billion, kiwi fruit 2.7 billion, and in 2024, apples were nearly 1 billion. So an outbreak could seriously threaten these industries, along with the jobs, communities, and ecosystems they support. So in short, the spotted lanternfly is a pest that we don't want, but one we do need to be prepared for to ensure the safety of our future. Thank you.
Kia ora, Taylor, that was great. So we're moving now on to, I think, Jay. Have I got the right one? you want me to tell you which one I want to do?
What's the last name of that presenter?
Devonshire. So do you want Jae Hyung?
That's Devonshire. Sorry, what's the last name of the presenter you want now?
Hyung, Huang.
I don't have that.
Okay, right.
Can you come back to that later?
It was just loaded this morning, so can I put that to the end?
Yeah, to the end.
Yes, Jay, sorry. I'll definitely get you some time. So if we move forward, which one have we got now? Yes, I think we've got it. Glenn Faulkner from Greater Wellington Regional Council, Protecting Australian Bittern.
Kia ora koutou. Wairepa Moana covers 9,000 hectares. It's been a... Play the video. You able to play the video?
So if you go back to start, it's the reverse one, so that one there.
Yep, there we go. It has been a tonga for hundreds of years, acknowledged by local Māori as a place of tremendous cultural and spiritual value. The once abundant waters teem with life. Today a fragile, unique ecology remains. Despite changes to the natural environment, it's still a hotspot and migratory pathway for many important and threatened species. A survey of booming bittern, Matuku horipo and spotless crepe began in 2012. The survey now includes 9 wetlands around Wairepa Moana, which is in the red areas is where the survey is happening. And just 9 bittern were recorded initially. That was booming. While playing recordings of spotless crake around these areas and wetlands, ferrets were actually attracted to the recorders in the early days. In 2024, we now have a total of 31 booming bittern in this area. It's a significant increase, and it's believed that the Wairepa Moana bittern population is now the largest in the region. Predator control began in July 2013 in 3 of these wetlands, Boggy Pond, Matthews Lagoon and Warero wetland, which encompasses 731 contiguous hectares within the Wairepa Moana complex. In these areas, we set up over 100 trap sites consisting of a Tim's trap, a Dock 250, which we widened the openings up to attract the big ferrets. These are baited with mutton neck and beef flap and are situated on the mow and bun walls to target predators. There are further wetlands around the Moana that are now also receiving predator control, and more sites will be set up in the future. Traps are serviced once a month, but also fortnightly from the beginning of September until the end of February. We spray herbicide around the traps periodically to keep the tall fescue down and target possums with the night shoots around the remaining willows. Restoration of these wetlands by the retiring of grazing, removal of drainage, planting and aerial willow control has been an outstanding success, with some prime habitat created for a range of wetland birds to utilise. This predator control shows the importance of the Wairepa Moana wetlands and the ongoing predator control trapping program needed to continue the survival of Matuku horipo in the Wellington region. Thank you.
Cure of that. Just trying to get my... Which... Next one. Hang on, G. No, we've got to use it. That's not the PowerPoint though, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
PowerPoint have been posted.
Right. So this is Jae Hyung, who is in his final year at the Bachelor of Applied Science. and he's going to be talking about the Hauraki Gulf.
Thank you. So my name's Jay. I'm a student at Unitec, and my final year project was talking to boat users around the Hauraki Gulf about their perceptions of Auckland Council's biosecurity awareness form. So that's what have I told? So that's one part in the middle. It's a part of the Protect Our Hauraki Gulf Islands campaign. So check clean clothes, things to do before heading out onto the Hauraki Gulf. So I went to Matt and Toby. We went to boat ramps and to Auckland boat shows, and we interviewed boat users about their perceptions of the form, whether they thought it was clear and easy to understand, and also what would motivate them to perform biosecurity actions. So we found about over 90% positive comprehension rate from 357 respondents. When we categorised their responses for motivations into different groups, we found that reducing the cost of vessel maintenance and also protecting marine and island environments had the highest response rates of 40 and 30% respectively. About 82% of respondents found that having a form to reference off of would motivate them to perform biosecurity actions, and about 72% of respondents realised the risk that they pose through the risk that accidentally transporting pests to islands through their vessels. So overall, it seems that messaging is clear and easy to understand, and having a form would motivate boat users to take preventative actions. There seems to be a good understanding of the risks that vessels pose, and if we target the key motivators, it would support future campaigns by Auckland Council. So thank you.
Kia ora, Jay. Excellent. The next one, there's a bit of a mist. I'm not sure if I've got the right one here at all. We've had that one. That's the previous one. Right. Next presenter, Di Morgan. He's Biosecurity Manager at Northern Regional Council, and he's talking about barriers stopping person from applying for a controlled substances licence and some solutions. Good luck.
Thanks. Kia ora koutou. It's not really a 3-minute gem, it's more of a 3-minute whinge.
That's all right, yeah.
So, yeah, how do we... Oh, here we go. So yeah, up in Northland, we support a community to do a lot of pest control, community-led pest control, and actually there's a lot of appetite for using controlled VTAs, and so our conservation groups they tend to have kiwis as their target species, so they're quite keen on using secondary toxin like 1080 to sort of get those untrappable stoats every couple of years. And our landowners and farmers tend to focus on possums, so cyanide is the one. So those are our two main controlled VTAs, but we've really noticed over the last few years a decline in our community and our stakeholders reapplying or getting CSLs. And this is going to have some negative impacts on our environment and economy. It'll have a heavier reliance on the other tools in our toolbox, which will blunten those tools because we have a heavier, you'll use them more. We have more pests, like stoats, because we won't be using our secondary toxin. And just bad things all around, really. So when we've talked to people, the main barrier is financial. So, if you look online, you're paying in excess of over $1,000 to get your certified handlers for most courses. And then you usually have to chuck on another couple of $100 for the CSL from WorkSafe. That's a big barrier for our stakeholders. There's a short licence period, it's only 5 years, and the renewal process is pretty, it's needlessly difficult. You basically have to reset the whole thing again, just like you're doing it for the first time. So, yeah, I mean, we've been thinking about this in my group a lot. And so some of the low-hanging fruit that we think we can do to sort of help solve this problem is to, well, the first thing to do is just extend the life of the CSL. So having a 10-year period would be really good. It'd offset the initial cost of getting your CSL. And, you know, some of our guys, you know, they're only doing possum control or doing their secondary toxin every couple of years. So for a 5-year period, they might only use it 2 or 3 times in that time, which so it's really expensive. Simplify that renewal process. You know, I know the training is really important, it's critical, but there must be a better way for a CSL holder to demonstrate that they're still fit to hold that CSL without having to go through the whole thing again. And also, you know, we need to have sort of a watered down CSL. So, you know, a lot of our groups, they basically will turn up and just need to deploy the VTA. They don't need to transport, they don't need to store, they don't need to purchase, and they don't need to dispose of it. So just having a really simple, cheaper version for those people to safely deploy it would be good. So just want to check it out to people if you're having similar issues with your community, I'd be really keen to get in touch, or if you're working on this problem too, it'd be really good. And maybe collectively we could put a bit of pressure on WorkSafe to try and change this. Thanks.
Kia ora Dai. So I think we have our last presentation now. Gemma Owen. Gemma is, she has actually graduated from her Bachelor of Applied Science and she is just starting her Masters of Applied Science. Yep, that's it. And she's talking about lily-pilly beetle. Do you know what to do? Move on from that. That's your forward arrow. That's your backward.
Parabasides calapiso, known as the lily-pilly leaf beetle, is native to the subtropical rainforests of northern New South Wales. But their Australian range has since expanded to Queensland, Victoria and South Australia. They appeared in New Zealand around 2022 and have since established themselves around Auckland. These beetles consume the foliage of at least 3 species in the Syzygium genus, and New Zealand has 1 endemic species in this genus, Syzygium mari, which is nationally vulnerable. This project aimed to determine if the recently established lily-pilly leaf beetle would consume the foliage of Syzygium mari, and if it did, what the extent of damage they would inflict. To conduct this project, we first developed rearing methods to have a captive breeding population of beetles to conduct trials on. In the trials, Syzygium australe was used as the control, as we know that they consume this species. The trials began with each individual starved for 24 hours to act as a baseline. For each beetle, 1 mature australe or mari leaf was traced on 2 by 2 millimetre grid paper and then placed in with the appropriate individual. Each trial had 15 adults exposed to australe and 15 to mari for 48 hours and then swapped to the other species to try reduce bias. This was done where possible with larvae, but many did die after their first trial and were replaced, so many larvae individuals only had exposure to 1 species. The leaves were then traced again next to the original tracings to determine consumption. For each post-exposure tracing, every square that the leaf margin passed through that was damaged was counted and divided with the total squares of the perimeter to calculate the percentage of the leaf margin that was damaged. The pre-exposure tracings indicated damage that was not beetle-related. We found that 0 of the 60 mari leaves were damaged, but most of the australe leaves were. The average perimeter damage adults inflicted on australe was 20% and larvae 18%. This is a promising result for Syzygium mari, as none of them were damaged as opposed to the australe. But more trials should be conducted with the young mari leaves so that we can be sure if they will or will not consume the foliage.
Kia ora, Gemma. Now you 3 can just go. fantastic presentations. I'd just like to thank everybody who's actually contributed this morning, and could we all please give them another round of applause?
Righty, thank you, Diane. Tricky job. Technology. Hey, it's Smoko. So we're going to see you all back here at 11:10 for another plenary session. So time to earn those buns and cakes by climbing the stairs. Remember, take a split, go left or right.